Hey y'all, I'm Mickey Gousset, and welcome to another Unscripted, where I haven't built the demo yet. I haven't built the script. We're just going to wing it and see what happens. Now, earlier today I did a YouTube Live. It was my second YouTube Live. I thought it went relatively well. Only had, I think, 5 people there at the max, maybe, but it went well. Somebody gave me a super, whatever that is. It's kind of neat. But we talked about Dependabot, and we talked about all the different aspects of Dependabot. Well, I want to build off of that here in this particular video. So here's what we're going to try to do. One of the things Dependabot can do is it can do version updates for you. So it can tell you if there's new versions of packages out there that you want that you maybe should be using. It can also tell you if there's new versions of actions that are out there that you can be using. Now this is really cool because let's say you're using the checkout v2 action, then it can actually tell you, oh no, like the latest version is checkout v4, and it will even open a pull request to get you upgraded to that latest action. But what's also cool is in addition to telling you, oh, you were on v2 and now v4 is available, let's say you're doing the really secure thing, which I hope you're doing, and you're tying your actions to actual commit SHAs or commit hashes. It will still tell you if there's a newer version of the action out there from the commit hash that you're currently at. And then it will prompt you to upgrade to say v4, but it will do it using the hash of v4, using the commit SHA of v4. That's really cool. So I want to see if we can make that work today. So let's jump over to the screen here. Wrong one more time. There we go. And let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. First thing I wanted to point out to people, in case you weren't aware, I'm doing lives. I'm trying to do more lives, or want to do more lives in the future. You can see the 2 lives that I've done so far on the live channel. So if you want to go check those out, one of them was all about GitHub Actions and GitHub releases. One of them was today was about Dependabot. The catch with these you're going to see is the talking head video part. I got to figure that out. The machine I'm using obviously just can't drive everything I need it to drive. So I got to figure that part out. But it's coming. But obviously I'd love, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. I'd love for you to like this video. All of that gets me out there just a little more at a time. And please do. So with that, though, let's go jump into actually trying to make this Dependabot stuff work. All right? So give me just a second here. And let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into. All right. So first off, we need to come out here and let's create us a new repository. And we're going to call this repository Dependabot Version Updates example. And I demo Dependabot Version Updates where I update actions. Awesome. We'll make this public so you can have access to it. We'll add a README file to it. And we're going to create that repository. Now, with this repository created, first thing we need is a GitHub Actions workflow. Great. Not a problem. So we'll go to the Actions tab, and we'll just start out with a very simple workflow. All right. So we're going to change the name of this to Simple, and we'll just call this My Simple Workflow. And we're going to only trigger on workflow dispatch so we can run it manually. We got one job build, runs on Ubuntu latest. And then we've got multiple steps listed here. All right. So let's blow this up just a little bit so you can see it a little better. So first thing we want to do is right now it's set to use actions checkout v4. Well, we're trying to make it tell us to update. So let's change this to use v2. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, you're changing it to use v2. How do I know what the different version numbers are that have been assigned to this action? Well, we can actually grab that action/checkout. And if we go to github.com/action/checkout, well, github.com, and paste that in, right? Then we can see over here on the right, we've got 41 different releases. The latest release is the latest point release is v4.2.2. So if we go look at the different releases, then we can see that if we do a search for, say, v4, and if we keep scrolling down, sooner or later we'll find one more page. There's v4.0. So, and you can see, and these versions, right, all they are tags. They're tags that are tied to a particular commit SHA. So I actually said I wanted to use version 2. So let's see if we can find version 2. Let's just scroll down through here real quick. Make sure there is a version 2. There's a v3. That would work too. But yeah, see, there's a version 2. And there's the commit SHA that is tied to. So we're going to set this uses statement to be actions checkout v2. But let's also add a second checkout. And this time, instead of using the tag, we want to use the commit SHA, because the commit SHA is the most secure way. So let's come back in here and let's find version 3. And this is the commit for version 3. F54, yep. So we copied that commit, and back over here in our code, we're going to say, use that commit. And let's do this just for fun. We'll call this name, oh, can't type, checkout using tag v2. We'll call this name, checkout using the SHA for v3. And just because we can, let's also go get a point release. So let's go grab 2.7 or 3.5.0. All right, so let's grab the commit SHA for 3.5.0. So we'll copy that, and we'll add one more. So we'll say uses action/checkout at that commit SHA. And this is going to be name checkout using SHA for version 3.5.0. So I have 3 different checkouts, and we can run, right? We can save this. So let's commit this. Commit this directly to the main branch because we're rebels. And if we come up here to actions and we run this, then all 3 of those should execute successfully using the different versions of the checkout actions that we have them set to do. So we'll select the workflow and we will run the workflow. And this shouldn't take too long to run because there's nothing in the repository. Give that just a moment. All right, and it worked, right? Let's see. You can see it downloaded the different actions based off the tag or based off the commit SHA. Looks like it ran them all successfully. Great. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this run those successfully. So now what I want to do is I want to turn on Dependabot, and I want Dependabot to be able to tell me if I have actions that need to be updated. Now, what I'm hoping is going to happen is it should tell me I have 3 actions that need to be updated. We'll see what happens. Like I said, haven't tested this. I mean, I know it kind of works, but I haven't put the demo together, you know, just bells and whistles, making it perfect. So if we go to the settings tab for this repository and we go under advanced security, then in order to use Dependabot, remember, Dependabot's used to tell you if the packages that you're using, or in this case, the actions that you're using, have security vulnerabilities against them, or there are updates to them that you might want to be aware of. So you have to have the dependency graph enabled. So I already had dependency graph enabled. I had Dependabot alerts is currently enabled. That's why it says click this to disable it. But right now I don't have security updates or version updates enabled. So if we go to the security tab, we're not going to see anything because we don't have any, even though we're using older versions, you only get alerts for security problems. You don't get alerts for if there's version updates that need to be made. So if we go back to settings and we go back to advanced security and we go back to, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this at the top of the hour or at the top of the talk, but Dependabot's free. 99% of it's free. There's something called dependency review that's not free, but the rest of it is free. I'm talking free. You can use it on public repos, private repos, internal repos, whatever you want to do. So what we want to do is we want to enable this version updates. And as you can see, what it's going to do is by enabling version updates, Dependabot's going to go out and check to look at the packages, and if I configure it correctly, the actions that I want it to watch, and will open up pull requests to update me to the latest version of a package or an action out there. So if we click enable, then it takes me over here. It takes me into the .github folder, and it wants to create this file called dependabot.yaml. Now this is important because the dependabot.yaml file, this is where you specify like your package manager. So let's say you're using Artifactory, or you're using GitHub packages, or you're using Azure Artifacts. This is where you would specify the package ecosystem you're dealing with, like NPM or NuGet. This is where you would also specify, this is the server we're using. You can create secrets that can be used in this file so that you can have access to it. You can control where it looks for the package manifests and how often it tries to update them. Now, I'm wanting to do this specifically for GitHub Actions. So you can go look at the documentation to see all the different fields that you can put in this file. And there's lots of different fields, and you can list multiple package ecosystems. But for the GitHub Actions aspect of things, for the package ecosystem, we want to put GitHub Actions. We want to leave the directory just to be a /. And then we need to schedule how often we want this to run. And I think it's daily, weekly, and something else. Let's go look and see. Let's grab this and go take a quick glance at the documentation. So if we do a search for interval, daily, weekly, or monthly is how often you want it to check. So we're going to tell it to check daily. And my hope is as soon as we commit this file, it's going to go do a check. Now, how long is that going to take? I'm not sure, but we'll find out. So we're going to say commit changes. We're going to say initial version of dependabot.yaml. And of course, we're going to go directly to main because we can. So now, with my dependabot.yaml file in place, what I'm hoping it's going to do, and I may have to pause the video and come back if it doesn't do it that quickly, is it's going to come out here to my workflows folder. It's going to see my simple workflow with these versions that aren't the latest versions, and hopefully we'll open up a pull request to get them to the latest versions. Now, it's not going to open up any security alerts, right? Because again, we're not doing anything that's a security problem. We're not finding a security problem. But what we're hoping it should do is at least open up, or at least take us to where it opens a pull request for us. And if you'll look up top, we have a pull request. So let's go look at this pull request. Now this says it's only bumping actions from 2 to 4. So that leads me to believe that it only basically found the first action in our workflow file. But let's go check it out. All right, so you'll notice that we're wanting to bump the action from 2 to 4, and it gives us this compatibility score. Now the compatibility score means this is how confident we feel that if you just merge this without testing it, which I don't recommend, you should always test your PRs. But if you just merge this without testing it, we feel 79% certain everything will work the way it's supposed to work. All right, if we look at the file that was changed, oh, it did update. Oh, it updated, but it only set the title for the first one. Okay, now I understand. So it did catch that all three needed to be updated. And what you'll notice is it's saying that we need to update, in this case, V2 needs to be updated to V4. And then we're also saying that these two versions need to be updated to this commit SHA, which looks like it's the same commit SHA. So it's updating both of these to the same commit SHA as well. Let's go see if we can figure out relatively easily what that commit SHA is. So if we go back to github.com/actions/checkout. I'm just curious. If we look at the releases and we're looking for, let's get back over here, EE0669. Wait, am I doing that right? That's the front number, right? Yeah, pretty sure I'm doing that right. Yep, awesome. So I get confused sometimes. You have to forgive me. So it's if we look for EE0, so let's go back. And just out of curiosity, oh, no, I need to go back over here. See, I told you I didn't practice this. We're going to grab this value. That's what it's wanting me to update to. I wonder if I can, no, let's go search by tag. So what are we looking for? It was EE0669. I'm wondering if that's what V4 is. Let's go look and see. V4, where are you hiding? Oh, let's do this. Go to code. Oh, go to releases. Go for tags. There we go. Interesting. Oh, wait. That's not it, right? That's not it. Okay. That's weird. If that's correct. Because let's do this instead. Yes, I'm rambling. Feel free to skip this part if you're not interested because you saw it did do the updates, but now I'm trying to figure out something. So if I come in here and I say, hey, you know what? Let's go look at this commit. March 24th, 2023. That's interesting. Did I put the wrong commit in there? Because what was it bumping from? So it got this one correct. But it tried to take this one. Oh, okay. So 422. I have confused myself at this point. That's interesting. That was because if this is what we're going to, this is what it's wanting to change it to. So let's go look at this. Doobie doobie doo. I promise I'm a professional. So here's the commit. Oh, which is tied to v2, v2.7 and v2. Then what the heck did I do? Did I pick the wrong thing? Because I said I wanted to use this commit, which was, I thought was the v3. Did I do that? Did I just mess it up? That's very possible. Would not surprise me in the slightest. Okay. You know what? Let's try this again. Let's try something. Let's do this. I'm not sure what's going on, if I'm perfectly honest with you. In case you're not following what's going on, it looks to me like it's taking this, which was tied to, it got this one correct. But it looks like it's taking this, which is tied to v3, and tying it back to this, which as far as I can tell, is tied to v2.7, which is not what I was expecting. So I'm wondering if there was a confusion. So let's go create another workflow in another repo so we can make it generate quickly, and just add this one line and see what it does. Just because, you know, just to make sure, to see if it works. Because if it works, if just that one line, then could be there's some weird race condition or something going on, and I don't know. Let's figure it out. So we're going to say example 2. And we're going to make it public. Everybody can see my shame. And we're going to create this repository. That's so weird. All right, so what I'm going to do is just come up here to here, and we're going to go to the code. And let's go to workflows. And we're going to just cut and paste this. So Control C that. Let's go back down here to our new one. We're going to go to actions. We're going to say, hey, let's create a new workflow. We'll call this one simple as well. But this time, we're not going to keep this one. We are going to keep this one that we think is tied to v3, F43A0E. So let's go find that out for sure. So if we go to releases, and we shift over to tags, and we scroll on down until we find the v3 tag, F43A05E, perfect. So that's what we want, F43A05E, perfect. So let's commit those changes. Commit changes. And just to make us happy, we'll go to actions. Wait a minute, where'd my workflow go? Thank you. We'll go to actions, and we'll run this just to make sure it works, which it should. Give it just a moment to run. Now, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to have to go back and check because it's supposed to work for both the tag and the SHA. So I'm going to have to do a little digging. All right, so that worked. So now we're going to go to settings. We're going to go to advanced security. We're going to go to Dependabot. Dependabot's enabled, dependency graphs enabled. So we're going to enable version updates. And let's just come up here. Let's grab what we created previously. Just paste it. So GitHub Actions, daily, commit that change. And as we saw, within a minute or two, it created the pull request for us. So what I'll be interested to see is, does we're using the version 3, right? So if we go back to our workflows and we go to the simple workflow, then we're using the SHA for version 3. So in theory, it should find that there's an update that we need, and it should update us to a newer version. So we'll give this a moment and see what happens. Now, I did mention this, again, Dependabot. We haven't really looked at, go watch the live if you want to see some demos of the other stuff that Dependabot can do. Because there we looked at how it can give you alerts for package management. We looked at how it can give you security updates. And we also talked about the dependency review, which is, let's say you add a bad package on a pull request and you want to block the pull request. That's where you could use the dependency review action to block the pull request. However, you do have to have a GitHub Advanced Security licenses to be able to use the dependency review action. Okay, interesting. So it did try to bump it. In this case, it's bumping it from 3.6 to 4.22. Okay. Oh, 3.6, same tag. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So 3.6, same tag, and it says it's moving it to 4.2.2, which is the latest, which should be 11BD719. Oh, down here. So if we go look at that pull request, and we go to files changed, then that's what it's doing. So it recognized that I was using v3, or what it did is it didn't interpret it as v3, it interpreted it as v3.6.0 because they were both tied to the same commit, the same tag, or the same tag. Both tags are tied to the same commit SHA. And so it updated me to 4.2.2, which is the latest version here. But as we saw over here, when we had multiple actions checkouts, what did it try to upgrade me to over here again? Let's see. EE066, which is not in any form or fashion 11BD719. So let's perform one final test. All right. So we've shown that it worked. It worked here. Worked like it's supposed to. And back over in this workflow, it worked like it's supposed to on the first one because it was a version, but it didn't seem to work correctly for this next one. So let's go create one more repository where this time let's give it the commit SHA one, and then follow it with a version one, and let's see what it tells us to do. All right, one more time. We got this. All right, so github.com/DevOpsElvis. Let's create a new repository one more time. And the reason I'm creating a new repository is so we don't necessarily have to wait a day for this thing to trigger. There might be a way I can make it trigger faster, but this works. We'll make it public. We'll add a README, and we're going to create the repo. All right, so let's come up here. Let's create my simple workflow. Let's go grab this code. So we'll do the .github workflows folder, which is where all your workflows are stored. And we're going to grab all this code. Then back down here, We're going to change this to be simple because make sure I rename it correctly. But this time we're going to take this and put it below this one. And then we're going to delete the other one. So, and this is what we did here, and it worked correctly. So let's check this in, commit these changes. Let's go back over here to actions and let's run this just to 100% make sure it runs, make sure we didn't do a typo or something else. All right, so let's let it run real quick. Then we'll set up Dependabot, and this will be our final test. Let's see if it gets it right if things are reversed. All right, it ran successful, beautiful. So let's go to settings. Let's go to advanced security. Scroll down to the Dependabot section. Dependency graph is turned on. Alerts are turned on. We want to enable version updates. So let's click enable version updates.
Sure how to help you with that.
That was Alexa talking to me. I did not really need her help, but that's okay. And let's copy and paste this in. So we're using package ecosystem GitHub actions. And let's commit this change. And in about a minute or so, we should see the results. And then we're going to see what happens. But it didn't work correctly on the first one. So I'm probably going to have to go ask some people internally what's going on there, because that was a little bit unexpected from my perspective. Let's see. So we got to wait. Obviously, we don't have any pull requests yet. So it took about a minute or so last time for this to work, if you'll remember. So we'll give it just a couple of more seconds here, and then we'll check it again. I am looking to see if people are still interested in me doing lives. I've had about 5 people show up, and which is fine. I mean, I'm not expecting hundreds of people or anything, but I'm curious if you like that format or not, or if you prefer the video format. I'm also curious if you prefer the more scripted videos versus the unscripted videos. All right, there's our pull request. Look at that. Now that's interesting. It didn't say it was bumping it from 3.6 to 4.2. It says it's bumping it from 2 to 4. It's fine. Okay, I've got multiple checkout actions, so it can't list them all in the title, right? That's fine. So let's go see what it did. But this time it got it right. Because 11BD, and then it upgraded that one to V4. Okay, so here's where we are. It works, all right? I mean, it worked the second test, it worked the third test. And obviously you would be checking these anyway before you would commit them or submit them, merge them. I don't know what happened here. So I'm going to have to go back and play with that a little bit to see if I can make it do this again, or if I did something silly, or if this is potentially something to be, I need to get someone to look at. But we did see it did update the versions when you're using tags. We also saw it's updating the versions when you're using SHAs. And that's what I really wanted to show in this video, right? I mean, that's what I really wanted to show in this video. Hold on a second. Is that you could use both tags and Dependabot would tell you there's updates, or you could use commit SHAs and Dependabot would tell you there's updates. And that's important because if you're trying to make the most secure workflows you can, you shouldn't be using tags. You should be using commit SHAs. Now, let's go look at our public roadmap for just one more second. So if we go to GitHub.com, or let's say GitHub public roadmap. So if we go to GitHub public roadmap and we go to here, Okay, I guess I'm going to do the authentication dance. Whee! Y'all get to watch me do the authentication dance. Don't you feel special? But we have this public roadmap, all right? And this is a roadmap of the stuff that we've got potentially coming up. Now, if you come out here and you do a search for immutable, check this out. We've got potentially coming in the next 3 months a public preview of immutable actions. And the idea behind immutable actions is going to be, I can't just move that tag on you. It's going to be more like a package that when I say this is version 2.4, it's version 2.4, and I can't move the tag on you in the repo and suddenly you're using code that you didn't expect to be using. So immutable actions is coming. And with that, we'll be able to go back to using the more semantic versioning way and feel like we're still being really, really secure. But until immutable actions gets here, the most secure way of referencing an action is going to be with the commit SHA. All right, that was a long video. Sorry about that. And you saw me fumbling around, which is fine. You can skip all that. But we did find a couple of interesting things. We did find that one time we ran this, it didn't work as expected. I've got to test that some more, see if I can reproduce it, and if so, see if I can get somebody to figure out why that's happening. But when we did it, the little slightly less complicated, it worked fine, right? It updated the SHAs when we wanted it to, it updated the tags when we wanted it to. Moral of the story of all of this is, if you're using GitHub Actions, you should definitely be using Dependabot to tell you when there's new versions of the actions out there. Because let's face it, actions are just like packages. You use the version you're going to use at the time, and I guarantee you, you never go back and check to see if there's a newer version out there, or if a version you're using has security vulnerabilities. And that's what Dependabot will do for you. And you saw how easy it was to turn it on, just a couple of button clicks and a little bit of code. So go try this out yourself. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think of the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, smash the bell, do all the things the cool kids say you're supposed to do. But seriously, all of that helps me get a little more out in front of people, and I would really appreciate it. I'm also looking for topics. If you've got topics you want me to cover in a live, or topics you want me to cover just in a video, shoot me an email, right? Shoot me an email, hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to leave it to you to find my email, but it would be very easy to find. You can find my Twitter too. It's very easy to find. It's probably linked in the comments. And let me know what kind of information. Let me know what kind of topics you're wanting to see. All right. Thanks for sticking around this long. I hope y'all have a great evening. Thanks for watching.